Hey everybody, it's just Zack here. I thought I'd just jump on here quickly before you start the documentary. Thank you everyone for clicking on it. I really hope you do like it and you do get something out of it. This is also just a quick disclaimer to all the viewers that some of the things that are spoken about in the documentary might be a little bit concerning or distressing for some viewers, so please do view at your own discretion. And for those who are underage, parental guidance is recommended. And also to let you all know, a lot of the details about my past have been left out of this video just because it is not the forum for it. But in saying that though, for those who are interested in wanting to know more about the stories and my background, I have done a separate video for that. So if there is enough, if you do want to know about it or there is a high demand for it, I will be happy to send you through that. I'm just not going to put it in this video for many reasons. But other than that, I really hope you guys really enjoy it, and thank you. I'm Zack Wilson. My journey started in 2018, where I ended up in a mental ward facility, and for the next 5 months, I wanted to reevaluate what I wanted to do with my life, because at the time I was quite lost and didn't really have any direction or anything like that. For the next 5 months, when I was discharged from the ward, I thought about what I wanted to do, and I began to reminisce about the things that I did as a kid, and what I was quite good at was endurance sports. And so I did quite a lot of triathlons when I was a kid with my family and things like that. But and I thought, alright, well, I'll give that a go. And so I made the decision to make the return to triathlon in 2019, but I sort of started training again around September or October of 2018, and I did triathlon for about a year and a little bit, from 2019 to the start of the pandemic. And I just really didn't find what I was coveting for, which was like a purpose and identity and something that I could use my mental health for as well. It sort of just felt like it was quite a selfish endeavour and just doing it for myself and not for anything else. And so I kind of lost the joy. I sort of lost the reason to do it, and so I fell out of it. But then I found road cycling. But even with the road cycling, I just didn't find like my purpose or anything like that. And so I did road cycling up until 2023, and February 2023. And my cycling coach at the time, he sort of reviewed all my data on Training Peaks, and he said, oh, maybe because I had quite good short-term power, and he said maybe you might like something like cross-country mountain biking. And so I thought, oh yeah, I'll give that a go, and plus it's the style of racing I like anyway, because I like racing that's just hard from the gun. And so yeah, we began to experiment with mountain biking, and actually my first introduction to mountain biking, so I didn't just kind of go out and just start riding. My coach at the time introduced me to a fella by the name of Dylan from Ride Techniques, and he was my first introduction into mountain biking. And it was early February, around, I think, yeah, it was maybe early to mid-February, where I met him for the first time, and he was my first introduction to it. And he was my first ride was with him off-road at Jinka, over at Jinka Track over at Bunya there, which is just down the road. And yeah, pretty much the rest is history from there. It's the skills component that really motivates me to be a better rider, because
there's no ceiling to being a better mountain bike rider, and it's all the sessions that I've spent with Dylan and the abundance of hours that I've spent by myself out on the trails, just becoming obsessed with the art of getting better and learning the foundational skills and developing good habits, which is what he's always taught me, and it's sort of led to how I coach as well. Sort of a lot of the things that I've been taught and a lot of things I have learned as well has really helped my style as a coach too. And because of the progression that I had made over the last year and a half now, or a little bit longer than that, it's led me to a coaching position with Ride Techniques. And at the end of 2023, I started off as an assistant coach, and then I slowly progressed to, I quickly progressed to leading groups at the start of 2024, and it's sort of expanded from that to taking other groups, like being involved with their enduro groups and trail bros or one-on-one. So it's just sort of branched off into heaps of other things, and it's been actually quite a rewarding experience, and especially with coaching the kids. And to what I've learned, I've been able to extrapolate what I've learned and then break them down into learning certain features or certain skills, and seeing the kids become faster and safer riders and having a bunch of fun at the same time has honestly been a very rewarding experience. Okay, get the bike to go straight down the middle here. Okay, straight down the end over this rock, because then it makes the exit that much smoother as opposed to coming straight down this janky rock. And you sort of got to make it into a 3-point turn when you get to the end there. So if you were to go down here, you got to go 1, 2, 3 instead of making it straight 1 and then 2. Okay, so I'll go up there and I'll do a quick demo. So, yeah. I'm coming down. Okay, here we go, rolling in. Roll down. Yeah, there we go, Ollie. You actually came down here pretty good. Yeah. Just sort of, and you're like this. Yeah. And you're sort of going through stuff. Like, you don't have anywhere to go if you need to. So try and bring your bum just a little bit more forward and have your arms a little bit more bent. Level yourself out if you need to. Alright. But if you're sort of here, you're already sort of stretched out, and then you've got no range of movement there. Alright. And just bring your body weight up a little bit more. Good. Good. Yeah, there we go. It's the same thing again. So it's just keeping yourself in the center, coming over the top, push the bars. You're going to centralize on landing, and your body's going to be in the exact same position. So all you're doing is pushing the bars. All you're doing is pushing the bars. You're not doing this. You're just going here, pushing, and then when you land, it's going to centralize yourself again. You'll centralize on landing, and you'll go over this one, and you'll do the same thing. Does that make sense, boys? Mm-hmm. Did you want me to do another demo? Yeah. You've got to come in a lot slower, because if you're coming in with a decent amount of pace, you're just going to glide straight off it. So come in a little bit slower over the top here and push, but make sure you get your bum back. Mm-hmm. Come in, compress, and then push. So you're keeping the pressure on the pedals, and you're getting your bum back so it doesn't tip the bike straight over the top of you. Roll up to it. Good, buddy. Yeah, good. Truthfully, it's one of the best things I've ever done with my life, and because despite chasing my own personal ambitions as a professional racer, it's also allowed me to utilize my mental health story and to be able to give back to the next generation of riders and inspire as many people as I can just to ride bikes in whatever capacity that looks like. Like I ended up racing KZ2, which is 6-speed, so it's just basically a lever that came out behind your steering wheel, and it had a hand-operated clutch.
Yeah. Yes.
And it had the gear stick here, and it's just sequential, and so you just let off the throttle just about half a second, and you change gears.
Yeah.
And I did one round at the National Series with that, and I think over the course of the weekend from like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because it went over 3 days, because Friday was practice and then Saturday was qualifying and I think 2 or 3 races, and then Sunday was 1 race. And I think over the weekend we probably went through like 4 sets of tyres. Just ridiculous. And I think, I don't know what it is now, but I think the tyres we were running then, which were MG yellows, I think they were $270 a set.
A set. Ooh.
Yeah, so it ended up being over, probably just over $1,000 just for a set of tyres.
Just for a weekend.
Yeah, just for a weekend.
Mate.
And we even had to, because it was, depends, and then you had to sort of like redo the top end. I think it was like every 10 or 20 hours where you just redo the piston and take off the head.
Yes.
You take off the head and then change the piston.
Yes.
And then I think it was every...
Same as motocross.
Yeah, I think it might have been even 40 hours or a certain amount of litres of fuel, same as the top end, where you had to redo the bottom.
Yeah.
Just ridiculously expensive.
How many years were you guys into that?
How long did I do go-karts for? Oh, jeez.
Like a while, or?
Yeah, a fair while. Yeah. I reckon probably 10 years, because I started off in high karts at Mako Track International, which is up in Cairns, up in Mariva. So I started in the high karts there, and there was a fella there by the name of to be a kipper, and he pretty much taught me how to drive a go-kart.
Yeah.
And I think I was around 13. I might have been 13 years old. Whereas during the school holidays, and they basically allowed me to work there for free in lieu of like sessions in the go-kart. So I used to go and spend all my time.
You could just...
Yeah, so I used to go and spend all my time up at Mariva. Used to just work during the day, do birthday parties and normal work, like day-to-day stuff, and then at the end I was able to go out on the go-kart, and it was good, man. It was pretty good. So to be here pretty much taught me everything I knew with go-kart driving.
Right, yeah.
So that was pretty sweet.
If you did it for that long, you must be a gun behind the wheel there, mate.
Yeah. When I sort of got to a bit more competitive level and like racing nationals, like national level, where at the time it's called Australian Kart Championship now, but I think that's what it's called now. I haven't followed it since I left, which was a long time ago now.
Yep.
It used to be called CIK Stars of Karting, and the dudes at that level, because the higher you go, the more money's involved.
Of course.
And it's all about track time at that level.
Of course.
So, I didn't really do too well. The only round I did okay at was Puckapunyal, I think.
Yep.
Puckapunyal, which is in Victoria, in country Victoria. They had a sick ass go-kart track there.
Yeah.
But that weekend was going really well, and then during one of the races, we were going down the main straight, which was probably about maybe 700-800 meters long. Maybe not that long, but it was quite long. And we were going into a sort of like a fast sweeping left-hander, and this dude just fucking comes straight over the top of me, just hits me from behind about 110, and he hits me from behind and just runs straight over the top of me and sends me off the track and then into hospital.
Oh, mate, that's so dangerous.
Oh, yeah. And then, I was taken to hospital. Yeah, I was taken to hospital pretty much right after that, and I was on the green whistle, mate. On the green whistle, and out came the truth, and I was high as a kite. So yeah, that was about the only good. Yeah, that was about the only good round that I did have. And then all the local races and stuff. It was good fun, but a lot of snobs and wealthy people and people who sort of look down on you if you don't have all the top equipment and shit.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was alright, man. I mean, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change that time because, it was time I got to spend with Mum.
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically Mum and I that did, when we moved down to Brisbane and then all the go-karts and stuff, it was basically just Mum and I the entire time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like she pretty much did everything. It was pretty much her doing it solo, and it would be Mum and I driving to the races, going to like national series where we'd just jump on a plane and then we'd do like a ride and drive with the team I was with, which was Cosmic. And yeah, man, I mean, you can remake money, but you can't remake memories.
Oh, dude, exactly.
So that was probably, despite all the other shit that was going on in my life at the time, that sort of kept me on a little bit of a straight and narrow, if you could say that. But
that's awesome.
I mean, it was time I spent with my mum, and I don't regret any of it. So I mean, I sometimes say to Mum now that I wish I had wish I hadn't done that and found mountain bike earlier. But I also think, well, I think I'm sort of the person who thinks things happen for a reason, and we sort of went in the direction we did because of the reason, for whatever reason that was, or for whatever it was at the time. But yeah, I don't
wouldn't change it.
I wouldn't change anything, as they say, is if we all had a crystal ball,
Yeah.
But mate, it was great fun.
So where are we heading now?
We're going down to Donnybrook, where Mum and I used to live when I was in high school. I think we moved here in grade 10, which was in 2013, after sort of everything went south with my mum's ex-partner, and we moved up here, and there's a road that on the night that I decided that I wanted to end my life, it was we're heading to that road now, which is along Beer, Byram and Donnybrook Road. It's basically just a 5k dirt road that is a bit of like a shortcut from the highway into Donnybrook. So that's where we're heading now, mate. We're gonna go and revisit where my life could have ended very, very differently if the police weren't there. So I haven't been here in I think I've only visited this spot maybe once since 2018, so I really don't know how I'm gonna be, but I'm sort of, my stomach's very churned about coming back up here, so I don't know how I'm gonna be, and I don't know what sort of emotions it's gonna bring, but I'm prepared to whatever's gonna hit me when I get there, mate. It's like I came out of the ward and I just thought, you know what, fuck this, and just decided to switch, and then went after the goals and everything that I wanted to do, and just cut out all the people that were in my life at the time, changed my number and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
And just started again, and honestly I didn't really care at the time because I thought that I was just focused on myself. I wanted to get myself back to a place where I wanted to be, and I've thought about what I wanted to do, and it took me quite a while to find what I wanted to do, but I found that, and then obviously the return was triathlon, and then we sort of went through all that sort of shit, and then we're sort of in mountain biking now, 6 years later, so it's it's been a bloody journey, mate.
And does your mum still play like quite a big role in everything with things that you do now, or?
Yeah, mum's always been the most supportive person I could ever hope for. Like, she's, I was in the ward and she was there. She was there, like, every day.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
No need to apologize, brother.
Yeah, it's just basically been it's just basically been Mum and I pretty much for the last 10 years, and she was pretty much there for the whole mental ward thing and everything else before that and after that and everything in between. And yeah, she always puts me first above herself and everything else. And she still continues to do that now, even though I'm 27. And I wouldn't have it any other way. And part of the reason why I do what I do is not just because of the mental health and want to give back to kids and things like that. I also want to give a life that my mum deserves, or that she's really earned. And yeah, she's, even though it's like she thinks that it's just the mental health, and it is that, but also deep down also is I want to give back to my mum, and I want to be able to basically give her what she gave me. And she's always struggled. It's always just basically been her on, when we lived in Cairns, it was just her living on cleaning salary. She just busted her ass to help me and my brother, and she gave us everything she possibly could, and she always went without to make sure that we had everything. And there's some times where I might take my mum for granted, but at the end of the day I always love my mum. And sort of the maturity has hit me now that I'm sort of in my late 20s, and I think back, and I'm certainly very appreciative, and I'm a lot more grateful than what she thinks. I think more than what I let on anyway about what she's done for me. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, to be honest.
So is this corner?
Yeah, so this is the road here, the way that we drove in on, where we came down from there. It was just came straight down this road, just full, just this 180 plus. Just came down here, mate, and I basically came straight down the road here and pretty much aimed for that corner just here, where I thought, you know what, I'll just drive down here until I've just had enough of everything. And once I got to this point, I thought, I've had enough. I don't want to, I didn't think my life was worth anything. I didn't think I was worth anything. And I fucking just wanted to end it. And I was coming down from there and was aiming for that tree just there. But as I was coming around the corner, because I'd driven this road many times, and came around that corner there, and all of a sudden I saw all these flashing lights come from down that road, from down that side over the highway, and it was the police, like all the police fucking lights and shit. And they were sort of coming here, and they pretty much stopped there, and I pretty much had to slow down. And if it wasn't for those guys, mm, if it wasn't for the police being there, the outcome of what happened on the night of this road, it could have ended up very, very different. But the only reason why the coppers knew I was here because Mum called them and said he's about to do something incredibly dangerous, and they went to the door at home at our old place in Mango Hill, and they basically tracked my phone, and they were out here they were out here as quick as they could get here, and they stopped there, and I pretty much had to pull over because they were right there, and pulled over, and I stopped, and I was just bawling my eyes out because I just fucking hated everything. And I pulled over, and they came over to the window, and I wouldn't get out of the car, so they pretty much had to drag me out. They pretty much had to drag me out of the car, and they got the car, and we left the car just around here, and they put me in the back seat, and on the way there I had this huge epiphany where I just thought, fucking hell, that was very, very just not very smart. And I don't know, dude, it's just, I had all these feelings about what could have happened if they weren't there, and all these other potential things that could have happened. And I was thinking that on the way to the Caboolture Hospital, where they took me, and the police were talking to me on the way there, and that was when I was having all these mixed emotions and all these feelings and thoughts going through my brain on the fucking one of numerous outcomes that could have happened along here. And they took me to the Caboolture Hospital, just down the road. I think it's probably about 25 minutes from, maybe 20 minutes from here. And they took me in, and I was sitting in the emergency. I think they took me through to the emergency room, and I was sitting on a chair there waiting to be checked in, and I had all these people looking at me, and I felt like I was some sort of fucking freak. And I was just very I was extremely sad, but I had so much rage. I had so much rage inside of me, and I was sitting there with my hands clenched in a fist, and all these people were staring at me, and I just wanted to punch every fucking person in the room, because even though there was nothing wrong, they weren't doing anything, but that's how I felt internally. And once I was checked in, they sort of took me through, and they took me to another wing of the hospital, and they stuck me in this room by myself, which was, pretty stupid in my opinion, but they sort of put me in this room by myself, and I just sat down. I had the pillow, and I was screaming into this pillow. Even though I already lost my voice, I still managed to scream as loud as I could. And one of the nurses came in, and they said, you're going to have to calm down because you're freaking everyone out. And I didn't want to be taken to the psychiatric wing, or wherever it might have been, because even though I was dealing with all the emotions and all my thoughts and everything, I didn't think that I belonged in the psychiatric ward. And then it wasn't too long after that where they sort of put me on a hospital bed, and then I was talking to psychologists and whoever else that I saw that night. And it was in the morning before I was transferred to the mental ward facility in the city of Prince Charles. I was put in this other I think it was quite similar to the mental ward at Prince Charles, but I'm can't quite remember. But it was essentially a place where it's for people like me in the current situation that I was in, and I was just pacing up and down the hall. And I was pacing up and down the hallway. I had a jumper, I remember I had like a jumper on, and had my hands in my pockets, but my hands were just clenched in the fist, and they were just gripped so tightly, like I was about to punch someone in the head. And I was pacing up and down the halls, and people were sort of like looking at me, and I just wanted to punch, I just wanted to get extremely violent, but I also knew deep down that wasn't the smartest thing to do. And so after I was put in there for about, I think it was maybe a quarter of the morning, I was transferred from the Caboolture Hospital to Prince Charles, but they put me in the ambulance, and they drove me there, and then that's where I was put in the mental ward at Prince Charles, and then that's when I began my journey of recovery, if you could say. So that's pretty much the story of this corner. For the next 5 months post my discharge, I made the decision to regain my focus, to reflect on who I wanted to be and what I wanted out of my life. Throughout this time, I gained a lot of weight. As I regained my self-confidence, I began to reminisce on my past achievements in endurance sports, ultimately deciding to pursue them once again to achieve a childhood goal, which was becoming a professional athlete. In 2019, on my return to triathlon, it was honestly a year that I could have never even imagined for myself. At the start of the year, I had set a goal for myself that I wanted to qualify for the Triathlon Australia Age Group World Championships, which was based in Lausanne in August that year. And so I sat myself down, I made a plan for myself, I did a lot of Google searching with training programs, I did a lot of YouTube searching as well. I also looked at all the races that I needed to do in order to get points in order to qualify for the World Championships. And so I did that as well. And once I put that plan set in stone, I trained my ass off for those up and coming months, and I lost, in the midst of all that, I lost all that weight, and I qualified myself to the World Championships within 4 months of my return to triathlon. So it was honestly the best year I could have ever imagined, and I continued triathlon up until the beginning of the pandemic. But I was constantly plagued by injuries, aches and pains that I sustained from a kid that just kept flaring up, and so I found cycling amidst the pandemic, but it still wasn't fulfilling what I was coveting for, and that was an identity and a sense of purpose. It was in the month of February of 2023 where cross-country mountain biking was introduced to me by my cycling coach at the time, because he looked at all my historical training data on Training Peaks and WKO5 and noticed that I had really good short-term power. So I was like, yeah, okay, let's give it a go, and sure enough, I found myself surfing the net on YouTube and looking at cross-country videos and just mountain biking videos in general, and thought, shit, yeah, this actually looks really fun. And so it came as a big surprise, because I vowed to myself that I would never ride or race anything off-road again because of the motorcycle accident that I suffered as a teenager. Like, I was just frightened, just dead set frightened on doing anything off-road again. And so My introduction to the sport couldn't have gone better, because my first ride off-road was with a guy by the name of Dylan Ride Techniques, who I was introduced to, and my first session with him was on the 17th of February, and he was someone that I liked straight away, someone who I clicked with straight away, and for me that is a really difficult thing for me to do. So I thought, this could be something special, and here we are almost 2 years later, in a position that I could have never possibly imagined for myself. It's since I was 5 years old, I've always had this dream of wanting to become a professional athlete, and and for most of my life, I have dedicated myself to the cause of trying to become just that. And it didn't matter what sport I was in, as long as I was enjoying what I was doing and I was able to live the life as a professional athlete and do that as a job. But it wasn't until I became a coach that I realised that wasn't the life that I wanted for myself anymore. While I was pursuing this life as a professional athlete, I was content on not having a social life and giving up all of the things that you have to give up in order to try to achieve or trying to obtain that dream. And that was something that I was content with. That was something that I was okay with, because I knew that's what it took. But when I became a coach, that all changed, because what I am doing now as a coach and what I plan to do, it's not just about me anymore. I don't want to continue down the selfish endeavor path anymore. I want to move on with my life, and I want to start doing things that give me real passion, that give me real meaning to what I'm doing. And I believe that I have a gift, and I want to be able to share that with people. And I've obviously gone through some traumatic things, and I want to be able to help other people. I want to be able to help kids find their way. I want to help them find their passions, find meaning in their lives, and I want to be able to help them before they go down the path that I went down, because I don't want to see a kid suffer what I went through. And so becoming a coach has really highlighted those things for me, and it's something that I want to do that's something that I want to do as a career. And so this, for 2025 and for the future, I'm looking forward to continuing to coach. Coaching. I want to move into, keynote speaking or public and motivational speaking. I want to be able to share my experiences with people, share what I went through, how I managed to overcome it, and I want to be able to inspire as many people as I can, to help them find their way, and ultimately giving them a reason to live not just today but every day.